Hi Booktube, it's Stephanie. Today I'm going to share with you all the books that I got in June. So the first book I got as an ebook because I couldn't find any physical copies, and that is Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. And yeah, this is by Harriet A. Washington, and I saw it in a video that Nora Reeds did for her recommendations videos for the Fuckathon this year, and this one she shared as part of the white supremacy prompt. And when it comes to medical things and stuff, that's, I don't want to say my wheelhouse, but that's the thing that I'm really intrigued about and want to read about. And yeah, I couldn't find it anywhere as a physical copy unless I wanted to pay like over $100, and I used to pay that amount for books when I went to school. I'm not gonna do it for fun. I'm just not, unless I'm like, oh, I really need a book. But like for me, whatever, it doesn't matter. But that's why I got it as an ebook. And yeah, and as I was looking for that book, I saw this one. This is A Terrible Thing to Waste, Environmental Racism and Its Assault on the American Mind, by the same author. And this, again, I don't want to say in my wheelhouse, but things that like lead paint and things like that. And yeah, it's about injuries caused by lead poisoning, pollution, waste, and the fact that person of color, because it's also the indigenous people of America, who is most likely to, well, when you look at the percentage of how many people get affected by these things, people of color are definitely on the higher end. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this because again, it's really intriguing, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Then we have a smaller book. This is Wicked Plants, the A to Z of Plants That Kill, Maim, Intoxicate and Otherwise Offend, by Amy Stewart. I told you I like poisons. And yeah, this has beautiful illustrations of different plants that are lethal or illegal. Just because of that, that was marijuana. Let's go. I have no idea what this one is. But it's, and also I love the fact that it kind of looks like an older book with the darkened pages and stuff. So yeah, this is a list book, and I do love me a good list book, and this looks really pretty. Then I got a book that actually was recommended on Goodreads. You know, because you read this book, you might like this book. They recommended the sequel for some reason, but this is the first book. All those explosions were someone else's fault, by James Allen Gardner, and it's one of those covers that kind of wrap around and then you have the superhero. So this is a superhero book, and this one takes place in a world where there are two different kinds of persons that have powers. The Sparks, which have power that derives from science, and then the Darklings that have powers like myths and magic, so ghosts, vampires, etc. And from what I understand, this, like, the main character gets powers and becomes a spark, and it's about them, her and her friends, learning to use their power and fight evil. I'm hoping that it goes into something like, just because you're a spark, you're not a good person, or you're not just a hero because of that, and just because you're Darkling, you're not an evil person. Because it sounds a little bit, At least I'm hoping that something like that will show up. And yeah, it sounded intriguing. Honestly, when I read this, it's like meh. But the things I read on other pages sounded interesting. And yeah, another superhero book. So the next book is a science fiction, and that is Stormblood by Jeremy Soll. And this takes place in a world where there's a war going on, and the main character has always wanted to be a Reaper in the, I think it's Harmony. I don't really know if that's a organ, like an empire or whatever it is, but he always wanted to be a Reaper. The way they becomes Reapers is that they get injected with some alien DNA, which then alters them so that they can become these elite soldiers. However, the side effect is that people get really addictive of this drug, and the main character gets disillusioned. Yes, I had to say that a couple of times, and leaves. However, Harmony always keeps their eyes on him, so it's not like out from it. They just leave him be for a while. However, then some murder starts to happening, and his colleagues gets killed off one by one, and he needs to investigate that. However, the more he investigates, the more of this Stormblood drug he needs to Stormtech. I think it's Stormtech. Yeah, the more Stormtechs he needs to fulfill his addiction. Yeah, sounds really cool and really interesting, and yeah, we'll see what to think about this one. So the next book I got because I decided that I could not hide from this anymore. I couldn't just push it off. Now, at the end of May and in the beginning of June, the Black Lives Matter movement really kicked off, and the process is still going on. So no matter what the media says, they are still going on. Just look at Twitter and Instagram, you will see that. And what basically that made me go is I can't just hide from things because they're uncomfortable for me. I do have a book on my shelf that's about Swedish participation in the slave trade. The difference between that book and the book that I have purchased this month is that that book I own and I see it because it's on a level where I can see it often. I just haven't felt like picking it up. This book I have been thinking about since I knew it existed. When I have felt like, oh, I should read that, I have actively waited for that feeling to disappear because I don't want to read it. And that is Sockerförsöket by Elin Bumenel. This is a Swedish name and I have no idea how to pronounce it. And this is about the curious experiment that took place 1993 to 1960 at it took place at Vipeholm. And if I translate this part, I love this part. Vipeholm's Hospital for the Slow of Mind. Basically, people with severe illnesses or like depression, it could be depression, but most of the people living there were people with dementia, people with severe autism and diagnoses like that, or Down syndrome. My brother has autism, and reading a book about people doing experiments on children that has the same condition as my brother, and since this place is located in Skåne, if my brother had been born 50 years earlier, he might have lived there. And okay, I need to calm down. I just feel like this is extremely personal for me. Yeah, And basically what these experiments were about was that they had 3 different groups, and for several years, yeah, they basically got different amount of sugar. One got a normal diet, and obviously the last group got most sugar. They actually invented a toffee that would stick to your teeth longer and things like that. And the first year the staff were also part of it, but then they were cut out, probably because they protested. And basically they want and they didn't brush their teeth or anything. Like the idea was to see sugar's effect on cavities. And since everyone knows that sugar gives cavities, that should tell you how weird it is. I'm a dental hygienist, so that's how I learned about this, because this book is her, this was how she became a doctor in it, doctorate. And the thing with this research is that it was founded by the sugar industry. They did experiments with minerals, with vitamins and sugar. And then when the study was concluded, it took several years before it was actually published, because it wanted to be kept down. Because obviously if you have an industry that wants to prove that something isn't the cause of something, and then they prove that it actually is, that should tell you some, like, obviously they don't want that to come out. And this is one of those studies that is still used. If you work in the dental field, yeah, you are using the science that was not really, you know, put actually on people who wanted to take part of it. And yeah, I have avoided this book. I have avoided this research. I needed to get this. This is new, but I needed to get it from the actual publisher, because they had some copies left. This book scares me way more than it should. But yeah, I now have it. So the next book I have is a light novel, and that is Overlord 1, The Undead King by Kugane Maruyama. And this is a light novel that is based on a gaming world. So this is another character that gets pulled into a game, and it starts off, I have not read it, but according to the synopsis, for 12 years a virtual world called Yggdrasil, yes, I needed to say that in Swedish, has been very popular. However, now the servers are gonna get closed, so the main character, who, what's his name? Umonga? Don't know. So he logs in one last time to look around the world, and then he gets pulled in. I don't want to know more. And yeah, this is something that I have basically been like, I want to buy it, I want to buy it. So I finally did, and I have to say I really like the art style of this, and also the way this flap looks like. For some reason that makes me happy. And also this, like, the end paper is just, the world is all yours. Like, yes. So yeah, another one of my gets pulled into another world without really knowing how, but needs to deal with it. Then I have one that I've already read, and that is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, volume 9, that it's created by Fuse and art manga by Taiki Kawakami. Yeah, and I like this, I really did. I prefer this one over volume 8. And yeah, now there's only I'm not too behind now, which I'm really happy about. But yeah, I really like this, and I am looking forward to them continuing on. That was a weird sentence. Whatever. So the next book I've got is this one. This is Dragon's Bane by Barbara Hambly. This is the book one of the Winterlands Quartet. This was published one book every month, so it's all out. And this is about a person who is searching for a couple of people, one being a dragon slayer and a sorceress. That, oh, she's actually married to the dragon slayer. So yeah, because a dragon has come to the capital and is devastating it. I don't know. However, when they return, other things have happened, like the king is apparently possessed or something. I don't know. I'm hoping that this is good. I haven't really heard anyone talking about it, and let's face it, this cover is beautiful. So the last book before I get into my Illumicrate book is Raybear by Jordan Ifreko. This, oh, by the way, I did see that there's a face on this cover when I got home, but I did see it was a face on the cover, unlike Havenfall, which took me like 500 times of looking at on the internet. But yeah, this follows a girl whose mother, who she only knows as the lady, is training her to become one of the Crown Princess Council of 11, and if she gets chosen, it apparently creates this bond that's really a bond deeper than blood, it says on the back. And however, the lady has put a wish on the main character, who, by the way, her name is Tarasai, and that she has to obey, which is that she needs to kill the crown prince. Yeah. The first time I read through this, it actually sounded a little bit like Empress of All Seasons by Emiko Yin, and I did enjoy that. I just found that it was too short to get everything that the author wanted. So yeah, I'm hoping, well, this has more pages. It has 100 more pages. I actually don't know if this is part of a series or not, but it is a debut. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. So the last book is my Illumicrate book for June. So if you have not gotten your box yet, don't watch this part. There we go. I know I will not be able to get rid of the glare on this one because I just will not be able to. And that was The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. And this takes place if the French Revolution didn't succeed. What then happened in this story is that the bad part of society, yeah, the cities, the bad people of France or of Paris formed 9 guilds, and yeah, we are following a main and they were known as the Court of Miracles, and we are following a main character whose sister was sold to the Guild of Flesh because her father was in death, and she wants to get her sister out of there, so she joins the Thieves Guild and trains herself up so that she can get her sister out of there. But she also gets another sister with this training, and then she needs to decide which is, should she save her blood sister that she hasn't met for a while. Like, it's one of those, who should she portray? Should she portray her sister by not saving her, or should she portray her friend, who is like a sister? Yeah, this is apparently a Les Miserables retelling. I forgot to cancel this one because I'm not interested in it. Yeah, I'm not interested in it. It looks stunning and I really enjoy the black spade edges, and I also like how it's like this, like ruining, I don't know, this fading thing. I love it. And also it looks so pretty underneath as well, this edition. And then this is signed with an auto pen because of COVID. They couldn't really do it for real. And yeah, I forgot. It's my fault. I basically I was like, oh, I think I know what book that is. And if it's that book, I don't want it. But instead of like email them and ask and be like, oh, I want to skip 1 month, here it is. And I'm still not interested in it. I am so sorry, but I'm not. I will ask my buddy read friend if she wants it. To be honest, I'm gonna ask if she wants it. Yeah. Now, if she loves it, I might borrow it. It will still be her book, but I'm not interested in this at all. So if you're not interested in a book, remember to actually cancel things. So yeah, those are the 11 books that I got in June. Did you get any books in June? Is there any book that you're looking forward to or not looking forward to? I don't know. But yeah, those are the 11 books I got. I knew that the 4 or 5 books would not last, but in my defense, some of these were supposed to have arrived in May. They did not. So there's that. Of these books, I would say that I'm most intrigued by Stormblood and Raybear. Yes, Raybear. Oh, and Overlord. And I know I need to read about the sugar trials or the sugar experiment or whatever I'm supposed to translate it to. Yeah. So there's that. See you next time. Bye.